You know, you stated in your blog, kind of referring to healthcare 3.0,
Yeah.
that there will be a shift of trillions
Yeah.
from one set of providers to another set of providers over the next decade.
Yeah.
So who are the winners and who are the losers?
Well, the winner, I mean, if you look at probably the short answer is go to healthrosetta.org. And the longer answer is you look in some of those areas, and it's ultimately, of course, it is about value, it's about the quadruple aim and who's achieving that. But it's things like reinvigorating primary care and the comprehensive view of primary care. A lot of people have a warped view of what primary care is in this country because we've done everything imaginable to undermine primary care. And basically turned into milk in the back of the store that's just there to churn you in and out to get you to high margin services. And that's why a lot of primary care practices gotten bought up by hospitals.
Well, let me challenge you a little bit on that. So you talk about improving that primary care piece. Our experience, I think, is that, you know, primary care MDs, they're unhappy.
Yeah.
You've even said in your blog that they're only 20% engaged. And there's a shortage of them. So how can we save the system through primary care with those roles?
Yeah, they're there, but why is there a shortage? Because it's been made to be miserable. There's a lot of internal medicine docs who specialized and left family medicine because it was torture. And when you make it attractive, there will be these folks flocking back. They are. I mean, all these great next generation primary care organizations, they have no problem recruiting whatsoever. And also, it's a rethink, like I said. So absolutely, primary care docs have a big role to play, and I'm incredibly thankful for them. But a lot of times, they're just glorified billing clerks today, and they're doing things. They're not practicing at the top of their license. And I put my family where my mouth is on this. I've got my parents in one of these great next generation primary care organizations, an organization called IORA Health. It's part of the Medicare Advantage program. And, you know, Marty Levine, geriatrician, primary care, amazing, love him. But he's just one piece of the care team. They have health coaches, dietitians, social workers, nurses. They don't have in-house PT, but they work with the whole care team. And so there's a lot of things that doctors and even nurses don't have the time nor the training to do to actually get at the core lifestyle issues that are creating these problems. And I think it's interesting, like where their clinic is located, they share a parking lot with a grocery store, not a hospital. You know, health outcomes are only 20% at best driven by the sick care system. There's all these other things that have a huge impact. And so there's that, is use all the members of the care team. And, you know, all that we've used technology for largely is a way to just, you know, get bills out bigger and faster. When you actually use technology appropriately, you know, and when I talk with docs, basically they will tell you a couple things. One is, my waiting room is clogged with people who don't need to be here, and the people who need to be here can't get in because it's clogged with people who don't need to be here, because I don't get paid if I don't see the whites of the eyes of the patient. 2/3 of them, I don't need to see them in person, but I force them to come in because I don't get paid if I don't see their eyes. So you remove those distortions, so much can be done through email, through text, whatever, and through the rest of the team and I've seen that in action. You know, I mean, I'm happy to share some, you know, more of the personal story there, but it's breathtaking. And, you know, one of the examples of how affordable it is when you do it right, the IORA example, is because some people are like, oh, that's going to only be available for the rich. Well, first of all, my parents think the reason I got them to switch wasn't the cost, it actually is less than what they were on before. It was because of better care. But they have another clinic, IORA does, in Jackson Heights, part of Queens, melting pot of America. There was one group that was not addressed by Obamacare, undocumented workers. And they partnered with Green America. Green is the founder who won the Nobel Prize for microfinance. turns out there's microfinance in America. I always thought it was just like Guatemala and Bangladesh and whatnot. And the other thing that keeps people in systemic poverty, besides having the source of income, is healthcare. They're getting these largely Latinas. We're getting most of their healthcare in the ER, and it's keeping them from being able to earn income because exacerbations from diabetes or whatever. You know what they pay out of their own pocket? $10 a week for primary care that's better than what 99% of Americans get, rich or poor. So it's entirely doable. It definitely requires a rethink. There's going to be a change. But yeah, we're not going to fix it by just continuing.
Well, we need to get PT in that group so we can help you.
It's the total view of Rosen. I shared that story in my TED Talk, and
Actually, Rosen was the hotel that the private practice section was at, I think last year, wasn't it? So we all had our conference.
Okay, yeah, great example. So, they're spending 55% less per capita on health benefits. And I talk about them in my TED Talk. So I don't want to go through all that, but it's breathtaking, and they, so watch that incredible story, what they've done in their community, but I'll just go back to PT. So it's like, I'm going to call Kenneth and say, I went on a site tour, but it was a while back. And I was like, what are they doing on PT? And he's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. PT is a big part of what we're doing here. And they're unique in that they have almost everything they brought in-house. They've hired their own, created their own on-site clinic, have their own doctors, nurses, pharmacists. The one thing they don't have with their own employees is PT. So they partnered with Cora because it has been so important to them. They cannot afford, if they had that PT in-house and they had a sick day or vacation, like that's bad for their employees. And so they brought it in-house, and going in, they would have thought that their need would have been for PT might have been 2 half days a week, but their gut said it's probably more than this. They are 5 full-time days now, and it's really important. It's a big part of what they're doing. So yeah, a true next generation primary care weaves in PT, it weaves in pharmacy as well.
You've said also that the middleman is kind of making all the money in healthcare, and insurance companies, they really don't have a financial incentive to lower healthcare costs because, so describe how the system happens. And you mentioned it a little bit in your talk where you said that, there's this big kind of lawsuit thing coming down the pipe, which is related to this. So, explain that a little more in detail, because I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, they actually have an incentive for cost to go up.
Right.
So that you'll go through in great detail in catastrophic care that goes through that, but I'll give you one example of that relates to this case that's going to break. And you can get more details. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, there's an article archive, and go back probably a dozen articles, and you see some warning signs around fraud. And it was just mind-blowing to me that had I not, so basically I've been writing about this ERISA issue I talked about. And so I get this email out of the blue from Tommy Thompson. You may remember he was the HHS secretary under George W. Bush, governor of Wisconsin. I'm like, well, that's kind of wild to get an email from him. He's like, hey, I'd like to, you are onto something on this ERISA deal, and I want to tell you about fraud. And I was like, yeah, some bad actor doctors and some pill mills, some bad stuff, but, not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. It's overplayed, or that's kind of what I'm thinking. And if it wasn't coming out of Tommy Thompson's mouth, a lot of what he's saying is like, somebody else that wasn't so credible. I thought, okay, where's the Trilateral Commission and black helicopters and all that? Because it sounds so crazy. Basically, he's the chairman of the board of a company. It's called Healthcare Pays. Healthcarepays.com is their domain. And what they provide is the equivalent of visa fraud protection. So probably some of you will run your visa while you're here, and it will get blocked because we're not used to seeing Steve and in St. Pete Beach or whatever, and because it's their money, it's at risk. And so they had this software uses similar algorithms because you have a pattern behavior, and whether it's charging cards or medical, you have a pattern behavior that software can suss that out pretty easy. And so, given who Tom P. Thompson was and one of their big investors, John Snow, former Treasury Secretary, I mean, they could get to the access to the top guys at the biggest insurance companies. They're going to love this stuff. It's going to stop fraud, and they were just getting nowhere. And then they got pulled aside on too much of the detail, but basically the upshot was they got very direct feedback that they had no interest in stopping fraud. In fact, they liked it because anything that provided upward premium pressure was a good thing. Even if it was with self-insured employees. In fact, better yet, one of the odd things in our industry is after they left, because a lot of even self-insured employers, they have third parties process their claims. Oftentimes it's one of the BUCAs. And after they let the bank get robbed, they get paid 30 or 40 cents on the dollar if they recover in dollars. So that's another source of income, because they lose money when they're self-insured. So that's absurd. And so the scale of it is just crazy. In fact, it blew their expectations. So this case is about to break if it doesn't get settled, which is possible, but I think the dollar is so big that it probably won't. So this company that does this, Healthcare Pays that does this, can stop the fraud before the money goes out the door. They also can do a forensic analysis of what's happened, and there's a 6-year period for ERISA. They can look at the claims. So this company had 17 million claims over that period, a big company, but not massive, like Fortune 200, 250. So big, but not, like Fortune 50 or anything. They found over 500,000 claims, not dollars, clearly fraudulent, to the tune of probably over $300 million. And when I say clearly fraudulent, these are people having once-in-a-lifetime events multiple times a week. I mean, the classic one is the 43-year-old steel worker who had 7 circumcisions in 7 days from 7 doctors. I'm not a doctor, but I probably get really good lifestyle. Multiple childbirths in a couple weeks. So once you take a step back, it's remarkably easy to steal from our healthcare system. And one of the crazy things is, guess who's doing it? It's our enemies. It's former Cold War opponents. As he said, it's an incredibly small logical leap to think that ISIS is getting this money, because you basically take the 150 million American insurance records that have been hacked from Anthem and Premier and others. They're out there on the dark web. They're basically become an ATM card for the bad guys when you combine it with a provider ID and a tax ID. Provider IDs you can download MPI like that. We had it for our product for a legitimate purpose. Go to irs.gov, boom, 20 minutes, you got a tax ID. It's normal for providers to bill with multiple tax IDs. And so then, halfway competent, computer scientists start just running claims. And
so, but to get to the chase, basically the employer is suing the insurance company for having paid those claims.
Yep, because you think you're paying them to stop that.
Yeah, because you hire them to basically run the healthcare business, as you call it, and they're overpaying for a bunch of crap.
They're overpaying. The PPO networks are a joke. Yeah. You pay for the privilege of radically overpaying. Yeah. In most cases, and then you're paying claims that shouldn't be paid.
Yeah. And then there's the other side of it. I've also seen where you've said that any company that has over 100 employees is just silly not to be at least partially self-insured and doing some of that. So why do these companies still go to fully premium plans? Just because they're not paying attention?
Yeah, they're not paying attention. Really the perfect story was, 20, 30 years ago, whenever a company started, they went to HR and said, keep our people happy, don't get us sued. Healthcare was a small line item. Power of compound interest, 10% this year it goes up, 15%, 8%. Now suddenly it's the second biggest cost. And so it's a big number, and it's just comfortable. And the industry has done a terrific job of making people think solving healthcare is like trying to solve the Middle East peace. Like, it's, everybody, like, my wife or my friends, you bring up healthcare and they're like, oh, they just want to put their fingers in their ears, and they just think it's hopeless and out of control, and like the only answer is maybe single payer. Like that's what some people think, and they're like, well, I'm agnostic on how we pay, but look at, to me, the two biggest problems in our system are pricing failure and overtreatment. There's no correlation between price and value. You see literally 60 to 1 price variance on things for no better quality, sometimes worse. And then there's massive overtreatment, like I was saying. And we're doing just as bad on that in Medicare and Medicaid as private. So like that's not the silver bullet. Like we need to fix that too.
And then add into that this bad behavior of hospital CEOs that you've talked about too, where it's this, you call it predatory capitalism.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It is brutal. I mean, some of the, I'm all for capitalism, and I don't have a problem with people being paid well if they add value. But the stories that I hear make my stomach turn of very mafioso-like behavior from, I call them tax exempt hospitals, nonprofits, a misnomer. 7 of the 10 most profitable hospitals are so-called nonprofits. And I've seen, frankly, some of the most rapacious, blood-sucking, capitalistic behavior from some of these organizations. I mean, it's brutal. Just Google, hospital CEOs behaving badly in my name, and you'll see some of these stories. It's horrible. And I use maybe a rough analogy, and I'll preface it with, I'm Catholic. And so to me, it is like, you look at, say, the Boston Archdiocese. They did incredible things over hundreds of years that I'm very thankful for. And, save people's lives and all that. Absolutely beautiful. That doesn't make it okay for an instant what they did in these clergy abuses. They acted above the law and with impunity. And that's the same thing I'm seeing with these organizations, is acting with impunity above the law. And I'm seeing them threaten people, and it's horrible. And not all of them are doing it. There's some amazing folks out there, but it is not one or two either. And so we got to call it out. And the heist is what it is. We're stealing our future.